Hello, fellow music nuts. It's that time of the year again, the beginning of the year 2021, and it's album of the year for 2020. I've picked out 10, which I didn't even realise I'd bought, um, and then I've got 5 honourable mentions here as well. It's been really hard to make this decision, but I think I've got them. And yes, I know I shaved my head badly, deliberately, in with the intention of forcing my sister to cut my hair, but she never arrived, so now I'm stuck with really bad hair, but never mind. Anyway, onwards, because this is going to be quite a long video. 5 honourable mentions are Tame Impala, Slow Rush. I really like this. It's got really nice soundscapes, and it's quite lush sounding and stuff, but for me it's just a little bit long and a little bit sort of, I don't know, not quite album of the year, or it was just beaten by a load of other stuff that I like a bit more. Although, to be fair, I haven't had this as long as some of the other albums I've got, so maybe if it had been released earlier, or if I'd got hold of it earlier, I should say, because it maybe I would have got to know it a bit better. But as it stands, it's an honourable mention. Another honourable mention is Empire of the Blind by Heathen. I really like this album as well. It's got some really good riffs on it, some really interesting stuff. They got a few sort of, there's an instrumental with loads of like really cool widdly guitar in it, which is cool, and quite a lot of memorable songs. The production's a little bit, it's sort of, I'm going to say pastely. It's a little bit sort of soft, but then a lot of albums this year have had quite a weird soft production, which has been interesting, but also kind of cool, but not quite fit right. Or maybe I'm just going deaf, I don't know. Either way, I like the songs, and it's pretty good. Next up, I really think this should probably be in my top 10, but I'm looking at the stuff that I have put in my top 10 and I'm like, what would it take the place of? And I really can't decide. So maybe this is number 11 in the top 10, is definitely this. It's a really good Static X album and a really awesome tribute to Wayne Static. It's so good. It really blew me away. I love it. Every single song on it is fantastic. So maybe it should be even higher. But then I think the same about all the albums that are in. This is what I mean. Really hard to decide. Again, I didn't get it till later, so maybe it would have popped something out in its place. But it's definitely number 11. Then we have Silosis, a British band. This is a really good album. It was released right at the beginning of the year, and I actually forgot I'd bought it. I have listened to it quite a lot, but I listened to it a lot at the beginning of the year and have since listened to all this stuff and all sorts of other stuff and sort of not forgotten about it. It was there in the back of my head, but like my hair. But it's just not quite, I don't know. Silosis is one of those bands that are still going, they're strong, they're good, but something's never been quite, don't quite have that, to make them really huge. Maybe they, I don't know. And yet I love the whole album, and I've got all their other albums, and you know, their last album was probably the most commercial they've done. This is definitely a lot heavier, which is cool. So there we go. There's been quite a lot of cool albums this year, and unfortunately due to COVID I haven't been able to buy a lot of them, so a lot of them I haven't heard. So next up we have Oak, Ash and Thorne by Dark Forest, another British band. They always have really cool album artwork. I have all of their albums. I definitely advise getting this, but it's not my favourite. It's definitely, you know, very high this year. It's kind of a power metal-y, heavy metal-y album. The reason it didn't make my top 10 though is some of it's a little bit unfocused and a bit meandery, I felt. But I think it might actually be a concept album, but I'm not sure. It's a good album, don't get me wrong. I think it's really good, but it's not quite, it didn't quite blow me away like their last album did. Don't know why. I can't quite put my finger on it. I think one of the songs is really long and it sort of doesn't really do anything, and so I sort of switch off. But there we go. There's been loads. I got a load over there that I kind of want to stick here and talk about, but I'm not going to. This is my top 10. Now I'm looking at it and I'm going, is it my top 10? Is this really my favourite set of albums that were released this year? And I think it is. I think it is. We go from the number 10. Wait, I haven't put them in the right order. There you go. That was quite easy. So in 10th place is American Head by the Flaming Lips. The reason this is on here is because I've only actually listened to it once, and I was astounded by it. I thought it was amazing, but I haven't had the opportunity to listen to it again yet. But I think it was really, really good. It's quite melancholy, but a lot of it's really catchy. There's a lot of complex music going on that doesn't actually sound that complex, and it's just really good, really entertaining. So I felt it had to be one of my albums of the year, because it was just, for an album to sort of pip my attention like that, it's got to be pretty good. So there you go. Next up, this might surprise some of you, I don't know. We have Juice WRLD's newest album, Legends Never Die. This is released posthumously. Is that how you pronounce that word? Posthumously, after he died. And you know what? It's actually really, really good. I like him anyway, but it's a really, really good sort of I'd call it a tribute album in some ways, because obviously he's no longer with us, but it's a really good way to remember him. It's just really good, really, really good. The lyrics are profound quite a lot of the time. Goes on about codeine a lot, but you know, it's catchy. And although there's 22 songs, it's only 55 minutes long as well. So it's pretty good. It's a shame he died, really, because I think he would have continued making some pretty good stuff. Obviously, it's not out to everyone's taste, but then neither is some of the rest of the stuff that's in my list. So let's carry on. Next up, oops, I dropped that one, is Utgard by Enslave. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. I cannot think of another way that would be pronounced. Utgard, maybe. This is a great album. It's like jazz, black metal, progressive metal, folk, all sort of mixed up, and it's really good. It's really, really good. I've already reviewed this, so if you want to see my review on it, check it out, please. It's in my channel somewhere. Yeah, it's really good, really, really good. Growly vocals are amazing, singy vocals are amazing, just really good. I love the fact they're adding jazz to it, just expanding their sound and making it even more expansive. Next up, we have an album that wasn't even going to be released this year, but then they changed their minds because they felt it was a good idea, and that is the Flower Kings, Islands. This surprised me a bit, actually, because I've found the Flower Kings to be a bit sort of stale the last couple of releases, but this is, well, not entirely different. It's different enough to sort of really pique my interest, and I've listened to it loads of times. They sort of made 20 plus shorter songs, which actually works quite well, although in the book it actually says they're designed to be listened to as one whole long piece, but breaking them up works really well. And they're all, pretty much all of them are really quite catchy. There's again, because it's the Flower Kings, there's a lot going on, it's good. It's highly entertaining, highly entertaining. Good, enjoyable music that's a little bit challenging, but not like hugely like on another level challenging. And next we have Haken's Virus, an aptly named album given the situation we're in. Oh, I nearly dropped the sticker. This version has the entire album in instrumental mixes as well, which I've not actually listened to. I will do at some point. This is really good. The production is really clean, really good, really clear. It's not compressed, and it's not just a big wall of noise. There's a lot going on. They use lots of electronics. They use lots of really cool guitar sounds. I can't remember the vocalist's name now, but he does lots of interesting things with his voice, particularly rhythmically. And yeah, I mean, my favourite song is Carousel. It's really catchy. But they've got this big long song called Messiah Complex, which is made up of 5 separate bits, but it's all really cool. And as always, I would say they've kind of taken the king spot of prog rock metal from Dream Theater and have done for quite a while now. That's how good this is. It's pretty fantastic. I like it a lot. So we're now in our top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Top 5 then. So in 5th place is The Reckoning Dawn by Winter Phillip, which is Old English for October, I believe, or something like that. This is a monstrous black metal album, and was again kind of a surprise after their really beautiful and amazing last album, which I've just forgotten the name of, which was all acoustic and sung and just incredible. They come back with this mind-blowing soundscape of cacophonic, folky, beautiful yet hauntingly hideous music, which is what they do best. It's so good. My favourite song is Betwixt Two Crowns, just because it kind of breaks the mould a little bit and it goes acoustic-y, and it's just really good. Yeah, it's definitely something to look at. The whole band, all their discography is fantastic, and they're doing bigger and better things. This one's got kind of focuses more on a black metal kind of sound rather than anything else. It's a bit less acousticy stuff in there, but it's great. It's really good. Next we have We Are Chaos by Marilyn Manson. This is the not special edition. I got this while I was in York, and it's really good. It's really good, except this stupid poster that isn't actually stuck in the book or got anywhere to go. It kind of reminds me of Hollywood. It's got that vibe to it, and yeah, it's just good. Every band this year has just been on top form, and Marilyn Manson is on top form with catchy songs, and I don't know if you, dark lyrics and kind of clever lyrics, like the I love fucking you lyrics. It's great, really clever. Well, I don't know if clever is the right word, but it's cool. And then it's got a self-portrait as well. It's just a really solid album. Really solid, and a lot of people have said it's their album of the year. It's not quite my top album of the year. I think these next 3, I enjoy these next 3 just a little bit more. The production on this album, on Marilyn Manson, is a little bit noise-wally, just a little bit. But then a lot of albums are these days anyway, so it's nothing new really. But next up we have Trivium, What the Dead Men Say. I really like this album. This is almost as good as Ascendancy, I think, and the last album, Sin in the Sentence, which was also really good. Matt Heafy is obviously on top form at the moment. They've had a few albums that were a little bit, I liked them, but I was always a bit like, what are they doing here? Like the Snow, Silence in the Snow, is that what it's called? It was a bit like, I liked it, there's nothing wrong with it, but it just didn't have that energy, whereas this does. It's got the energy, and it's really good. So yeah, that's my third album in the list. Next up, we have OMS. This album is just blew me away, and it still blows me away after listening to it about 1,000 million times. It's just so good. Everyone needs to get it. I'm not even going to justify why you should, because it's just so good. This is like a return to their utterly most amazing stuff, and the sound is amazing. It's just this massive soundscape of spacious, hard hitting, heavy metal, and then it goes into like shoegaze and other stuff, and it's so good, especially Orantia. And so that's my second favourite album. And my top favourite album, although I think Om's kind of is as well, they're kind of joint, is surprisingly The Killers' Implode the Mirage. Every single song on this is really catchy, memorable, fun, a bit deep at times, and everything else. And the whole band is just on great form. Brandon Flowers' vocal performance is really good. It's kind of a very 80s synthy album, actually. There's not much guitar in it, because I believe he's kind of left, or is on hiatus or something, I don't know. But that's forced the band to look at new ways of doing things, and it's kind of made them release a really, really good album. So there you go. You should definitely check that out. Oops. So, thank you for watching. Sorry about the extremely long video, or at least for me anyway. I hope you like my albums of the year. I suggest you check them all out. You probably won't agree with all of them. There are way more albums that I would include, but obviously with 10 you've got to choose 10. Yeah, let me know what your albums of the year are. There are many that I wasn't able to get that I'd love to get and still listen to. And yeah, I look forward to this year getting more. Thank you for watching. I've got more videos coming up. Please like and subscribe if you like my content, and comment down below, and I'll see you later.